Hi, my name is Sue McLaughlin with Inner Source Living. This is your Hump Day Energy Balance. I'm going to be doing this every Wednesday throughout our quarantine time and maybe beyond. I'm just going to kind of go with the flow with it. It's if you find this balancing helpful to you to help you get through the second half of your week, please share it. It's meant to just be another resource to help people get balanced in unbalanced times. So I work with Body Talk, which is a healthcare system based on the premise that our body can heal itself. And you cut your hand, there is no conscious thinking about how you're going to heal. And so our body should just be able to flow, our mind, body, spirit together. And when we have these big changes, sometimes traumatic things happen, and our belief systems come into play with our experiences, it gets us off or unaligned, off track. Body Talk is a great tool to get you back on track. It redirects how your body is talking within itself. And so here's the chart, just so you know, that I'll be using. I have lots of other resources that I might be glancing at the same time, emotional lists, things like that, to kind of help me be efficient and poignant as we're doing this. And I also have trained in other techniques that use magnets, so magnets might come up, and other techniques. So I will just kind of walk you through what I'm doing as we go. When I work with a client one-on-one in person, I use their body to muscle check, and it's very personal, private, and focused on their needs. So this is broader. I'm going to use muscle testing, basically going up and down my chart, and then, like I said, I might be flipping around to some other areas as well, going through my resources. And just so you know, this is another one of my resource books. So just so you know what's going on behind the camera here. All right, so I came up with, I tuned in, muscle tested, and got confirmation on 5 emotions that we're going to work focusing on. The first 2 are kind of fall under the umbrella of anger. It's impatience and agitation. Also working with depression, anxiety, and dread. So these may not specifically come up in the session, but this session will help you transcend through those emotions, process them out properly so that they don't start to become a burden and build up. I also focused on the area of our neck and shoulders, which we have probably a lot of people working at home that normally work at a desk. And so they're not at their normal, I'm working from home now doing Zoom and phone sessions with folks, but they're not sitting working, I guess, in alignment. So that's part of what could come up. But there's also the emotional piece, the spiritual piece of like carrying burdens, the weight of the world on our shoulders. So that there might be some release that you feel from this. Right before we start here, I want to just have you get into a comfortable position. You can be sitting, you can be laying down, some kind of recline where you can just relax and receive this. I will suggest, and if you're kind of tuning in, looking at what I'm doing, I will suggest that you might have a place to hold, because in Body Talk, we like to connect the physical pieces to the formulas that we come up with. And then I will be tapping out on top of my head, my heart, and in my gut mind here. Head to stop the program from running, that it's running that's askew, and get its attention, saving it in our heart mind, and also storing it long-term in that gut mind so that your body can go back into alignment with ease. All right, so just gonna have you relax. Take a couple deep breaths. All right, so the first thing I'm getting are adrenals, bilateral, so both adrenals. We have 2. They sit on top of our kidneys. There is an orientation. So an orientation is outside of us. it's this feeling of anguish. So there's just a lot of, it's stronger than just the word sadness. It got specific to anguish. And it's not necessarily yours. When it falls into this category, it's outside. So it could be your family, it could be people you know that are struggling, what you see on TV, on the news. And then we have guilt coming up. And this is ours. So this is our guilt coming up. I'm picking that up as like our guilt that what we're complaining about, we really kind of shaming ourselves into that, like, well, you have no right to complain. You've got everything you need. You're safe in your home. Guilt even around maybe not showing up the way you normally would for work because you're working at home and trying to manage a family, or just the semantics of like trying to get around working differently. But any of this guilt that kind of comes up there, that that we're carrying. Again, low vibration, we don't want to carry that. We want to keep our energy up. So those can be very draining on us. All right, so the next, all right, so now I'm getting a consciousness. It's actually a subsession, and it's a consciousness around, it's a pathological, and it's in our spleen. And so anchored in our brain, and spleen could be about our the subconscious mind, and we're getting like our rhythm in life. And so our rhythms, we're working with the old rhythm, and we're trying to bring in what is new, which is the new rhythm, which is the current, and then what is also the future rhythm. So 3 different time elements around rhythm. You've changed your old pattern or lifestyle, running around. Some people got out more and now they're not. What are those old ways that are maybe good or not? And then, creating the new rhythm of like, this is I keep hearing that phrase, our new normal. And from there, what is our normal going to look like in the future? All right, so now we're going back to the base formula with the adrenals. Gallbladder is coming up, and gallbladder's function is, so over in this area, is about, it helps us digest our food. So when the stomach breaks things down, then it goes to our small intestine, the gallbladder steps in and releases bile and helps us process that down easier. So we have been overserved with information and overwhelmed with things. So if you think of like, you feel like right now you might have too much on your plate or too much information. And so that's kind of hard to process down. And so it's coming in to release and help us process that through more efficiently. Also getting that it is also guilt there, and letting that guilt go. Like, okay, there's no reason, you don't serve anyone to be stuck in guilt, that you are okay. And you have everything you need for at least this day, right? And there's some frustration coming up there too. So we just want to kind of process that out. So frustration can have this like energy that was like, whoa, like anger, like push, and so those types of emotions have a place in our life if they get us to do something, to move something. So we want that frustration to we don't have to let this process through with something that is actually affecting us in a negative way. Okay, and there's another link, and it's a pancreatic reflex point, which is a meridian point. If you are familiar with meridians and acupuncture, so in this case, it's a reset, and we're going to reset the balance of joy and sadness, sweetness in our life. If you like in joy, and the pancreas is what its function is to help process digestion through enzymes at the same time. It works with the gallbladder and the bile, but it also, it manages the glucose and insulin in our bodies, right? And so our glucose, if you think of that sweet and joy, it may not feel like it's flowing. So it's about adapting to in this. So there's this reset. All right, so this is our first tap out. So adrenals, they're back here. You can put your hands behind your back if you want, but I'm also getting permission. You could just put your hand on your gallbladder, and that way it will, or you can do nothing, and I'm going to tap it out. So I'm going to kind of connect these. I'm going to hold the adrenals from the back of my arm here together with the intention of the bilateral adrenals. Ooh, and the anguish and the guilt that we're feeling. Using the gallbladder to help release and process this through, tapping on my heart to save this new way in alignment, and then also tapping on my gut mind. Make sure you're having some nice deep breaths. I'm going to tap one more time. Breathe in, updating this in our brain, balancing, saving it in our heart, now saving it in our gut mind. Okay, if you're having your hand in a position, you can relax. All right, so this is no longer a priority, so we're going to move on. Next, we're going to an organ. We're going to the heart, and in this case, it's about self-love and around our decisions. So our decisions to love ourselves. So what I'm getting is a combination of that. It is I'm going to love myself even when I am maybe not being, beating myself up, like I shouldn't feel guilty, that kind of thing. That is not self-love. That talk is negative talk. Also, what we're doing to take care of ourselves. Am I, choosing the wrong foods for comfort? And so I want to, helping us get to a place where we're like, we can make some decisions on like, you know what, it's okay to have one sweet after dinner, but I'm not going to binge on it because that is not loving myself in this time. Allowing yourself permission to go for a walk and take a break during the day, because that's really going to clear your mind, and getting that movement is going to be able to actually make you function better if you have to go back and sit and work on a computer. So allowing yourself to have some of those self-care things without guilt. All right, so there's another link. It goes to the fire element. So 5 elements, if you are familiar with Chinese medicine, that's also about our heart and our small intestine. And it's about passion. It's about joy and sadness. Yeah, so again, we're trying to balance the joy and sadness. Okay, and there's a link there to metal element, which is lung and large intestine, which can hold the grief and sadness. So yeah, so we want to get that in balance and that flowing. So again, this is all about getting everything properly flowing in our body. So there's no other information there. It's in the middle of this, and then we have another link, and that's in our lungs. So if lungs about breathing, releasing again, letting go of any kind of any of that anguish, that sadness, that guilt. So breathing in the vitality, the light, the energy, and then allowing it to, push out and breathe out. So if we're breathing deeply and calmly and slowly, we won't have anxiety. It's that stopping to take a breath when you're starting to feel overwhelmed, and if you're having a hard time getting a deep breath in, because it's shallow breathing says a chemical reaction to your brain that you need to be running from a bear. So that will send you into fight or flight anxiety. So if you notice that you're having a hard time getting a deep breath in, just try slowing your breath for a little bit. And then you'll be able to, then you can start to relax, and then you can get a little bit deeper and deeper. Yeah, so that's again about just another way to purify and cleanse out these negative emotions. And I want to point out on this, which I find interesting, we have heart and the fire element, which are paired, and then we have metal and the lung element, organ, and those are paired too. So this is it's an interesting tap out. But all we need to do to tap this out, this is, okay, we're ready. Put your hand over your heart and just take some slow, deep breaths and just think about all that nutrients, that oxygen that is coming in through your lungs to replenish the blood. And then that blood goes directly to your heart and then to every cell in your body. One more deep breath. Okay. So hopefully you're starting to feel more relaxed. We call that a shift. And it's like, oh, more in your body, more grounded, more full of goodness. All right, so that's not a priority. We have another formula. Okay, we're actually going to into another modality. So, all right, magnets. Magnets are coming up. So it's in organs, large intestine, or not just the whole large intestine. Your large intestine starts on your left side, goes up, it goes across. So that's your ascending, your transcending, and then down the descending part of the colon, and then eliminates. And so it's the descending. Okay. And again, we got grief, but it feels more like melancholy and disappointment. And it's got an anchor in the original time. It's March of this year, March 2020, and how for everyone, at least in the U.S., it's just like, wow, the reality that we are going to be missing spring as we normally know it. Our kids playing their outdoor sports, opening day for baseball, all those, NBA, if you're into that, like all the sporting events, the Olympics, music is, concerts are canceled. So this disappointment, this is not what we had plans, right? And so we just want that to be processed out. But our bodies are asking for it to for some magnet help on that. Okay, and we're going to go. Oh, so I have 4 magnets here, and it wants all 4. So thankfully they stack up. And so I'm putting it here on that descending part of my colon. Woo! And that's just kind of, if you just think of it as just kind of attracting and helping. So we have like through the digestion that's coming from one direction, and now this is like helping pull it so that both physically and energetically, we can just let this all go and make room for joy. All right, so we're going to tap this out. Again, just nice, slow, deep breaths. You can put your hand where I have mine on the magnets, but you don't have to. You just need to just receive. Whew. Allow this all to just, this is really processing and updating this in the brain mind right now. Okay, now we're going to that heart mind to save this new way. And I always ask for grace and ease as for my clients. So this is not a traumatic release in the physical, or is minimal of traumatic as it could be. So you might go to the bathroom more often, but we don't want to be stuck in the bathroom because your body is processing this all out. So I always ask for our best and highest good. I'd be failing you if I didn't. Okay. Okay, you here, done? Done. All right, so that is our session for today. You can listen to this, I get once a day if you want until next Wednesday. Again, morning, evening, take a break during the day before you go to bed. Just take the time to just allow this. So if you're starting to feel a little angst build up, take advantage of this video. And again, please share it with anyone. It will also be on my YouTube channel under Sue McLaughlin, and my practice. I have a website, innersourceliving.com. You can go there. You can email me at sue@innersourceliving.com, or reply to me on Facebook if you're seeing this on Facebook, or PM me, whatever, just to let me know if there's something you want to like add for any kind of future ones that are coming up. And again, we didn't hit on this right here, but I wouldn't be surprised that you're starting to melt and relax there. So, all right. Thank you. And I will see you next Wednesday, next hump day. Bye-bye.